Welcome back to section 1-3 of Algebra 2 and point slope form. So if you recall back from our Algebra 1 class, point slope form of an equation is y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x1, where of course m still stands for slope, that is never changing, m always stands for slope, and x1, y1 is an ordered pair, since we know x comma y is an ordered pair. So x1, y1 is just an ordered pair where x1 is the x coordinate of the point and y1 is the y coordinate of the given point on the line. So I'll give you a second to copy those. So we're going to take a look at three equations that are given to us in point slope form, and we're just going to first identify the point and the slope from those equations. So the first one, y minus 1 is equal to 1/2 times the quantity x minus 4. So at first, to review, it might be helpful to identify slope-intercept form and write the general form, y minus y1 is equal to the slope times the quantity x minus x1 above the equation. So if you find that helpful, please do so. If not, you can go right to identifying the pieces of your equation. So my slope here is represented by the value of m, so in this case 1/2, and my point written as an ordered pair, so the x value here is 4, the y value here is 1. Now we have to be careful because this is always a minus inside my parentheses. So make sure whatever follows the minus sign is the value that we are looking for. The same is y minus y1. So make sure that we are following what comes after the minus. Okay. All right, let's look at example number 2. Y plus 3 is equal to the quantity x plus 2. Well, the first thing that I noticed for this one is I don't see minus signs. So it might be helpful to rewrite this equation with minus signs. So if we remember back from middle school, y plus 3 is the same as y minus -3 is equal to x plus 2, which would be x minus -2. So if we break it apart into its pieces, it'll be much easier to identify my point. Okay, so first, my slope. Slope is what comes in front of the parenthesis of x. Well, notice here there is no value in front of x. So remember, when there's nothing there, that means there is a slope of 1 times anything. My ordered pair for my point, it's my x value is -2, my y value is -3 for my point. It's much easier to identify it if we first rewrite my equation, breaking the plus sign apart into minus and negative. But of course, we don't have to do that. We can just remember that y plus 3 is the same as y minus -3, and I do not need to write that green step. And our last example here, y equals -2 times the quantity x minus 1. So my slope is -2. My ordered pair, this is x minus 1 in parentheses, so the x coordinate is 1. And over here, y is by itself. There's nothing subtracted from that. So of course, there's nothing subtracted. The y coordinate there is 0. So I have a point on my graph, 1, 0. Sketching. We can sketch a line with the given information. So much easier than sketching from slope-intercept form. So then we're going to write the equation in point slope form. So begin with your point. So I'm going to sketch the point 1, 1 first. Slope of 3. Remember, slope has to be a fraction, rise over run. So make it into a fraction, make it 3 over 1. And now go ahead and sketch. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, rise 3, 1, run. Place my point, or I can come 1, 2, 3, down 3, back 1, place my point, down 3, back 1, place my point, and now you can use your straight edge and you can sketch in your line. If you're going to write your equation down here in slope-intercept form, so it'd be y minus the y coordinate from the point is equal to the slope 3 times x minus the x coordinate from the point 1. So if I were writing my equation in slope-intercept form, we would have y minus 1 equals 3 times the quantity x minus 1. But of course, remember, oftentimes we want my equation to be written in slope-intercept form. So now we need to solve for y. So if we're going to take this equation and solve for y, I'm going to distribute on the right. So 3 times the quantity x minus 3 times the quantity 1. And now I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So if I add 1 to both sides, my equation would be y is equal to 3x minus 2. So if I want my equation in slope-intercept form, we'd have y equals 3x minus 2. Okay, pause the video and try number 5 on your own. All right, let's take a look at number 5. So we should have graphed my point first, -3, -2. From there, the slope is 1/2, so rise 1, run 2, rise 1, run 2, up 1 over 2. You can do that as many times as it fits on the graph, and down 1, back 2. So we can see what our sketch should look like. My equation, so y minus -2 is equal to my slope 1/2 times x minus -3. Of course, we should clean that up. Minus the negative would be plus, so y plus 2 is 1/2 times x plus 3. So that would be the preferred way of writing your equation in slope-intercept form. And now if we want my equation to be written, or that's point-slope form, I'm sorry, if I went now slope-intercept form, solve for y. So I'm going to distribute over here on the right-hand side. So we're going to have y plus 2 is equal to 1/2 x plus 3/2. Leave them as fractions, not decimals, please. Subtract 2 from both sides. So y would equal 1/2 x, and 3/2 minus 2, so that'd be minus 4/2 would be minus 1/2. Get used to working with fractions and not decimals. And the bottom, writing the equation of the line that goes through the given point in point-slope form. So when we're writing in point-slope form, if I have 2 points, go back and do what you know. Find the slope between 2 points, so a review concept. So again, x1, y1, x2, y2. Review, formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the first thing we're going to do is find the slope between the 2 points. So 8 minus 0 over 4 minus 2. When I simplify, that will be 8 over 2, and that needs to be reduced to 4. Now that I have the slope, I'm going to use the slope and one of the 2 points. It doesn't matter which point that you choose to write your equation. It will not make a difference. So if I choose the first one, I'm going to have y minus y1 of 0 is equal to my slope times x minus x1 of 2. So that would be my first option. And of course, I can clean that up. Y minus 0 is y. So in point-slope form, that would be one option. My second option, if I choose the second point to write out my answer, and I was going to use the second point, then my equation would be y minus y1 of 8 is equal to my slope of 4 times the quantity x minus x1 of 4. And that would be my other correct answer in point-slope form. Both of them are correct, and both would be a correct form. If I would go on and solve these for slope-intercept form and solve for y, we would see that they both give us the same answer. Okay. This would be a good time to pause the video, try number 7 and number 8 on your own. Okay, taking a look at number 7, we should find the slope, and we should get the slope of 5/4. If I use the first point and I substitute in, I should be able to come up with y minus 2 is equal to 5/4. And it's x minus -3, but of course, x minus negative, we should write that as positive, so x plus 3. And if I use the second point, you should have gotten y minus 7 is equal to 5/4 times x minus 1. And the second one, find the slope. Slope you should have been able to calculate as -5/4. If I use the first point, y minus -10 would be the same as y plus 10 is equal to the slope of -5/4 times x minus x1 of -10, and again, minus the negative is a plus. And if you chose the second point, y minus y1 of -20 would be the same as y plus 20 is equal to -5/4 times a quantity x minus -2, so x plus 2. All right, off to your